Hi folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans, and today I'm actually going to be doing a review of the Netflix movie Arlo the Alligator Boy. Yeah, so this one came out last year in April of 2021, but guys, I only just watched it for the first time 3 days ago. So I'll give you guys a review. I feel like it's been a while, on this channel since I did a review. So I kind of wanted to freshen it up for you guys, change it up and give you guys my thoughts on Arlo the Alligator Boy. So let's get into it here. And before we do, two things I got to say. The first one is spoilers. Spoiler warning ahead. If you guys have not seen this film yet, it's still pretty new. It's only like about a year and a couple months old. Go watch the film on Netflix and then come back to the review here. And I don't want to spoil this film for you, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, maybe just skip the video if you're not planning to watch the movie. Or if you don't care, I guess just watch my review anyway. But yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say. So spoiler warning ahead. And the second thing I wanted to say is I'm going to be giving this a review out of 10. And this is just my opinion, right? A lot of times I do these reviews, I do videos all the time, and you guys get like really offended sometimes of like what I say and my opinions. It's like, guys, it's just my review. It's my personal own review. Don't get like too crazy here. It's just my opinion. If you guys love this film, don't let me take that away from you. And that's all I'll say on that one. This is just my basic opinion. There's nothing like too fancy here. I'm not like an official critic or anything, I'm just like a random guy on YouTube who watches a lot of cartoons and movies, and I'm just giving you guys my raw thoughts here. Okay, so with that out of the way, I think we should get into it. And there is an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed for this one, unfortunately. So what's going on here? Arlo the Alligator Boy, the movie, has a situation associated that most others don't. So what Netflix did is they made the movie, but they also made a show. Okay, they made a show called I Heart Arlo. And this movie is kind of like they're synonymous here, where it's kind of like you kind of have to. I did not watch the show. I'll tell you that right now. But the whole gimmick that they try to go for here is they made a movie to entice people into the franchise, and then you're supposed to watch the show for more of the answers. This movie leaves open-ended questions that are never answered, and you could tell that you had to watch the show to like finish some of these plot lines. And it's not that I'm not a fan of that. It's like what am I like Cusco, right? The Emperor's New Groove. And then it's like we had the whole Cusco Academy. It's like you watch the movie The Emperor's New Groove, and then there's also this show. Okay, so Disney used to do that back in the day. They would make a movie, then you'd get a show. But they never did it quite like this. This is something else, right? So Emperor's New Groove, it's a beautiful, amazing, and funny movie all on its own. It doesn't really leave anything open-ended, I would say. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily like leave you in a spot where you're asking all these questions that should have been answered. This film is very clearly, we made a movie and then we made a show, and you gotta watch the show if you want all the answers. So that already leaves a kind of a taste in my mouth where maybe you should have just made this into a show altogether. Like, why is this a movie then? You know what I mean? Like, why not just make it into a show and split this movie into like four episodes that are like 20 minutes each, So yeah, I'm very confused on why they did it like this. It's like they were trying to emulate Disney, but they kind of failed. And that's that. So I hope I explained that well enough for you guys. It's kind of like here's a movie, there's also a show, and they really, really want you to watch the show. But I did not watch the show, and I'm not planning to, as I did not really enjoy this movie, I have to say. I'll give you guys my score at the end, but yeah, it's not a very high score, I'd say. So let's get in here. So we start out in a swamp. Yeah, we start out in a swamp, and Arlo starts talking for the first time. And I gotta say, I was surprised. I really was surprised. When I first saw Arlo, you look at Arlo, like there's a picture of Arlo. I was really expecting him to have the voice of a country bumpkin, you know, like a hillbilly. I was expecting him to say like, "Hey ma, hey pa, get the shotgun," you know, like I was expecting a hillbilly, country bumpkin kind of sounding kid. This alligator sounds like a grown ass black man. Like what the hell? It's very, very baffling, folks. It really is. So he's raised by a. Oh, I missed the beginning. The beginning starts off with Arlo. He is dumped off in the sewers. Somebody abandoned him in the sewers. We're gonna get to that later. And he drifts into the water and out into the ocean. And eventually he goes to a swamp. Like the water like redirects him to a swamp, and then he's adopted by an elderly like white lady, right? In the swamp there. And her name is like I think Ellie Mae or some shit like that. Ellie Mae. Yeah, I the first time he started talking, I thought he said Aunt May from Spider-Man. I was like, what the hell? But no. Her name is like Elle May. Yeah, Aunt Elle May. I think that was her name or something. Or I can't remember. Does he say Aunt? I don't think he says Aunt. I think he just calls her Elle May. Yeah. So there you go. That's the main sort of motherly character. She's a human. She's elderly by the time when we get to the time skip, because right, she finds him as a baby, and then it immediately skips ahead like, I don't know, 10, 15 years, and she's even older there. She's basically grandma level. And the first thing I got to bring up is I believe this movie was made during the lockdown, and his like mother figure, Elme, whatever the hell her name was, her voice is just very low. Like the sound quality, there was some kind of error here. Her voice is just very, very low. Like she's like, "Hey Arlo," what? And then Arlo's like, what? She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like Arlo is talking very loudly, but she like the noise level. There's something wrong there. I think, I do believe that they had to record on their own laptops and like send the voice clips in. Because they couldn't do it in person because of the lockdowns. But like, it's kind of noticeable. I think they needed to fix the audio on her. Yeah, that was probably one of the main issues I noticed right off the bat. And yeah, like I said, Arlo the Alligator Boy sounds like a grown-up black dude. Like, what the At this point, I'm just like, imagine if he had a deep voice. Like, what if Arlo talked for the first time and he's like, "Hey there, everybody." Like, okay, he doesn't sound like that. I'm just joking around, but no, he really does sound like either like a black dude in his like 20s, or like he does not sound anything like a boy. And to be fair, he is an alligator, so maybe alligators sound like black people. I don't know. If alligators could talk, would they have the vocal cords of maybe somebody with a deeper voice? I don't know. I really don't know. You could suspend your animation of disbelief for this one, but yeah, he definitely sounds like an adult black dude, even though he's supposed to be a quote unquote boy. So that was another thing I definitely noticed off the bat. And we get into the whole plot here. So the plot is that it's his birthday. Was it his 16th birthday? Yeah. He's 16 years old. That's the whole gimmick, I think. He's 16 years old, and his grandmother tells him, or not his like whatever surrogate parent here, his adopted mother tells him that he is adopted, that he is not from the swamp, but rather he is from a place called New York City. And the way they tell this is because he has the hospital band around his wrist when he's a baby, so she presents it to him. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm from, New York City. I got to go to New York City and find my dad." That's the whole big thing here. So he goes, and this movie's pacing. What the fuck happened? This movie it feels so fast. Like something was wrong with the writing of this film. You don't really get a breather. It is literally, we go here, we go there, movie finish. It is crazy how fast the pacing of this film is. It is bananas. I was not a fan of the pacing in the slightest. Um, so there's that. What else am I? Yeah. So then they go. He decides to depart. He leaves his sort of like surrogate mother there, his adopted mother, whatever you want to call her. He leaves her there, and he decides to go on an adventure in the direction of New York City. How the hell he gets there without a map, I have no fucking clue. But he eventually makes his way there. Well, like no, he does have to go through a bunch of stuff first. Like there. Okay, so the main villains of this series are garbage. They're so good. It's like it's a big buff like woman and her like redneck son, and they also have a dog. But there's a plot. They purposefully do not show you what the dog looks like till later. But I'm just gonna spoil it. The dog is basically a jacked like buff dude. Like so. The dog is like well, it's not half human. It's the body of a dog, but he's basically a bodybuilder. Okay, like, he is a jacked ass dog. All right, and that's the whole sort of gimmick there. So they own their own little like business. It's a really weird little business where what is it? Alligator. They have like a display where they charge money. That's how they make income. They sort of have a weird carnival like display where it's like, hey, we have all these weird alligator and bizarrities. Come and look. So when they hear about an alligator boy, they're like, oh my God, we have to get the alligator boy. He'll bring us in all kinds of money for our business. So these are the main villains. They don't do anything. Literally, they don't do a damn thing this entire movie. They have like one good chase scene, and that's basically it. Towards the end of the film, they're trying to catch Arlo with their jacked dog, and they basically just give up. They're like, oh my God, Arlo's backstory is so sad, and then they just give up. They literally just give up. It is the villains in this movie might as well have not even been there. Like, my God, they're awful. So they're really, really bad villains. I literally cannot. I watched this 3 days ago. Can't remember their names. That's how forgettable those villains were. So yeah, they get chased. Arlo gets chased, and eventually he gets saved by this large fat woman back here. She's like I don't know, a giant. Like I don't know, how would you? She's just a very massive woman. That's the best way to put it. And she does have a nice singing voice. Also, oh yeah, I forgot. This is a musical. I almost forgot. Holy shit! I almost forgot to mention that. This is a musical, by the way. The songs were very bland and forgettable. I believe the style is called R&B songs. Is that right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, R&B. They're just these catchy little tunes, but like very forgettable. The only one that I remember was something. I can't remember the whole song, but it's like he's like more, 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 more. Yeah, he keeps singing. He kept singing the word "more" over and over. And it was pretty catchy, that one. But like all the other songs were just. I literally forgot them already, and honestly, like they just weren't that memorable to begin with. So yeah, not the biggest fan of the songs in this one. They weren't like you could tell like this was a shot. This was like trying to emulate Disney, but they failed horribly. Like even The Princess and the Frog is like leagues above Arlo. Like my God. Yeah. So I just was not happy there. So eventually they get chased by those villains that were garbage, like I talked about. And then randomly, the hell out of nowhere, this big, large woman in the background, you could see her there. I forget her name. Was it Ellie? It might have been Ellie. Or maybe, no, that was this mother, Ella May, right? No. I think she had a different name. Can't remember the name of her. And she jumps out of the way, or she just kind of jumps out of nowhere. And then Arlo's, he was raised in the swamp. Oh yeah, that's another thing I almost forgot to mention. Oh my God. So Arlo does not have an accent. Like, it's really weird. So he was raised exclusively. He'd barely ever talked to anybody else other than his mother. And she had kind of a westerny, kind of bumpkin-y accent, right? And Arlo, on the other hand, does not sound anything like his mother, not only that, he doesn't sound anything like his father, which we see later in the movie. And he doesn't even sound, well, we didn't see her mother because maybe you have to watch the show. Look, I don't know. I haven't watched the show. Anybody in the comments who watched the show, let me know if we ever find out about his mother, who probably was an alligator herself or something, or a hybrid alligator. Maybe she was half human, half alligator or something. He doesn't sound like, this is very unrealistic, right? Like, children, they emulate their parents. They sound like their parents. If you are raised by parents that have an Australian accent, you're going to sound like, crikey, mate, like, oi, bloke, you know? You're going to have an Australian accent is what I'm trying to say here. This guy does not have a goddamn accent in the world. That he sometimes they remember that, oh yeah, maybe he's supposed to sound like he came from the swamp, but for the most part, I didn't feel like he had an accent that resembled his adoptive mother's accent at all. And considering like she was the only human that he was conversing with, basically, that's a problem. I feel like a noticeable one. So there's that issue there. The songs, like I said, very bland, except for that one. The one I mentioned was like more. All of the other ones, ludicrously forgettable. And then we get back to the jumbo lady here, the giant woman. This is the most baffling shit I've ever heard, but Arlo asks her if she's like part bullfrog. You know, because, oh yeah, he has a pet bullfrog, by the way, that can apparently speak English. That's something never really comes up again, but yeah, he asks her if she's part bullfrog because she has really good jumping powers. If you guys have ever seen Samurai Jack, oh my god, there's this one legendary episode that was so bullshit it wasn't funny. There's a giant like snow creature, and I call him the jump good guy. Yeah, let's go on Google Images and type in jump good Samurai Jack. It was like a Yeti character or something that no, yeah, I guess he's not a Yeti. He was like a caveman. Oh, and he was hanging out with these monkeys. Yeah, this is the jump good guy, okay? Jack learns. So in this episode of Samurai Jack, he learns to jump ludicrously tall. Like, he goes high, man. He goes so damn high. It is crazy what happens in this episode. And he never does it again. Or maybe he does. But like, after this episode, he kind of just forgets how to jump good. He doesn't do it. He was jumping from like tree to tree, like mountain to mountain, no problem, because these like monkeys and this caveman dude taught him how to do it. And apparently, somebody from Arlo over here, Arlo the Alligator Boy, somebody must have watched that episode of Samurai Jack, because this woman, even though she's like a metric ton in weight class, she's able to jump around no problem. Arlo then asks her, how in the world are you so big and able to jump such large distances? And she replies, and I shit you not, I'm a vegetarian. What the fuck does that even mean? What? Like, how? You know, how do you get that big being a vegetarian? There's not a shot in the world, man. And by the way, the explanation of how she grew that big is that when she went through puberty, she just didn't stop growing, which is, I guess that's interesting. I'm sure there's some like real world examples of like somebody who like grew very large in puberty. I'm sure it probably happened in real life somewhere. But this world has very bizarre rules on genetics. I'll just say that. I guess we'll touch on that later. But you could see some of the characters here. You know, there's a fish dude that like has the bottom half of a human. You know, this is the kind of movie we're dealing with here. Very wacky, very bizarre. Yeah, so her response is that the reason she's able to jump like Samurai Jack, she's able to jump good because apparently she's a vegetarian, and somehow, by the way, how is she alive even? You know, if you're that big, wouldn't you consume a lot of calories? Right? Like, it is explained that she kind of just, she's poor. She's just roaming around the fort. Like, she just goes from place to place to place. We see her, like, she's just hanging around a train yard. It's so bizarre. How has she been eating? Like, what has she been eating? Does she just eat berries? Like, there's no way somebody this big is just eating berries and surviving. Like, there's no shot. She'd be skinny like a toothpick. She would not be this large, in my opinion, anyway. But the explanation of her being a vegetarian is utterly baffling. There's no shot this woman is a vegetarian, packing a size of that weight class. And she has muscles, too. Like, you are not keeping those muscles unless you are eating a lot of iron, folks. So yeah, I just don't buy the whole I'm a vegetarian bullshit, which allows me to jump high. Nah, that's BS. So that was that, and they become friends. And they eventually decide, let's go to New York to find Arlo's dad. So they head on their way. And then, on their way, they happen to run into a ragtag bunch of people. And I really just, like, it was so weird. The movie moves so fast. It's such a fast film. It really is. They immediately, I don't know, man. It just goes by so quickly. I don't know what to say. 1 minute, 1 minute Arlo's meeting the really large giant chick. And the next minute, we got an entire ragtag group of people. We don't, like, goddamn, we don't even get introduced to the big lady, and we already got a ragtag bunch of people. And by the way, this is the worst character in the entire movie. This pink, like, puffball thing, it's like a drag. I don't know what the fuck they were going for here, but this was like the Netflix diversity quota for the film here. We had to have a pink, like, female-looking character that does, like, drag, or it's a trans. I don't know if it's an allegory for a trans person. I don't know if it's supposed to be a drag queen. I don't know what it is, but, like, really, was it necessary in this movie? Probably not. Not a chance. Yeah, that had really no business being in this film. It was just there for a woke agenda push, in my opinion. This character was awful. I did not laugh at her, him, whatever they are. At all. The cat character. This was one of the more baffling ones. I thought the cat character was going to be a bigger role, but she mostly just drives around the bus. She's like, they ride around in a bus on the way to New York, and she barely has, like, any speaking roles. She doesn't do anything. This character could have, like, half of these characters shouldn't have been in this film. Like, they barely do a thing. Oh my God. The entire reason they're in this movie is literally just to be in the show at this point. It's like, oh my God, these characters were in the show or in the movie, now we have supporting cast for the show when that comes out. That's basically what they're going for here. The cat does nothing, like, all film. She basically just drives the car, barely talks. We don't even, like, get a good idea of what her gimmick is, other than being a driver. Then we have Tiny Tony. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Tiny Tony, he's just kind of there. He's kind of like the ringleader of the group in a way. He's the most adult character here, obviously. And he's a bit of a con man. That's his main gimmick there. Then we have the fish guy. The fish guy actually comes a bit later. He comes, yeah, the whole gimmick was that, like, the only way they would help Arlo get to New York is if they get his Tiny Tony's fish friend out of an aquarium. We don't even get to see the aquarium scene, which was kind of lackluster. Like, this film needed more footage. Like, it was too fast. We should have got the full aquarium breakout scene. And they just do it, like, off screen. Like, we only get to see it from, like, one different angle. It was just garbage. I really hated that scene. It felt like they were trying to save on animation bucks there, and you could really feel it. Just was not a fan of the whole aquarium breakout scene being so lackluster. So yeah, the fish guy is the funniest character in the film, but I gotta tell you guys, I did not laugh a single time during this film. Like, the fish guy was funny. He almost got a laugh out of me. It's pretty unusual that a character in a kid, like, it's not necessarily a kids show or a kids movie, but like it's very interesting that he hates kids. Like that was pretty, he mentions that he was stuck in the aquarium all day and there was just be these kids like tormenting him and staring at him all the time. And he hated that, but it was so weird. It was just so weird. This movie is just baffling. Like, do the people, like, he's half human. His bottom half is literally human. Shouldn't he have human rights? What was he doing in an aquarium? Why was he stuck in an aquarium? I don't know. I don't know. Are there any rights where, like, does Arlo have rights? Is he considered a person? Like, we don't know, like, anything here. Another thing that's baffling is Arlo, when they eventually get to New York, like everybody seems to be like on the way to New York also. They all seem to be pretty surprised about seeing an alligator boy. But like every character that we meet in this film, other than the human ones, we meet this ragtag bunch of team. And like, I don't know. It's like, is this a rare occurrence? Like, is this not a rare occurrence? Like, I'm just in shock. Like, some of the human characters are like, oh my God, an alligator boy. But then what about the rest of these people? Like, are people scared of them? Are they like, are any of these people unusual? You know what I mean? Like, are people that are half animal hybrids, like, are these people considered usual? Like, I don't know. Apparently they are, because half of the damn main characters in this film are like some bizarre carnival freak looking thing. I don't fucking know. Even the dog with the, like, he basically has the body of a man with the parts of a dog. I don't I don't know. Everybody's scared of an alligator boy, apparently, even though there's like weird pink puffballs, fish people, cat people, and I don't even know what Tiny Tony is. Is he like a demon or an imp or some shit? Like, I don't fucking know. Nothing in this movie is vague. Like, it is so vague. You don't get an explanation on like anything. And I guess, like I said, you have to watch the show, but I couldn't care to watch the show because I was so disappointed by this film. And yeah, so I think that's basically everything. Did I cover everyone? Yeah, I think so. Except for Arlo's father. So yeah, they eventually get to New York. I'm trying to think, is there anything I missed? It's such a fast-paced movie. Oh my God. They get to New York, and this is something that bothered me. So it is revealed on Arlo's bracelet from when he was a kid that like his last name is something like Beauregard. I think that's what it was, right? Beauregard. And the first person, it's so convenient. It's like the first person they happen to find, they literally, it's like, oh, of course the Beauregard guy is his father, right? And his father seems to be a human at a first glance, right? But it is later revealed that he is a bird person. He is half bird. How this world works, I have no fucking clue. You know, how does a bird give birth to an alligator? I mean, unless Arlo's mother was like a lizard or something, shouldn't Arlo have wings? I don't know. I really don't know. It's so confusing. Like, if you marry a half like hybrid, do you always produce a hybrid? Like, nothing is explained here. Nothing is explained. Not a damn thing in the world, man. But yeah, we eventually get the reveal. Sorry, back to what I was saying about the father. Let me go back there. So yeah, the first person, they see a big screen. His father has like a backstory that like he was a weakling. You know, he was bullied as a kid because he was like a half bird person. Not to be confused with Bird Person from Rick and Morty. You know. But yeah, he was bullied as a kid, so he swore that he would become rich and famous and come back to the town and exact his revenge by, I don't know, rebuilding it. Like, what the fuck was the plot of this thing again? So Arlo finds his dad. Lucky guess on the first try. Finds his father. Absolutely. Also there was a scene where he finds a seashell and he gives it to the giant lady in the back here. And eventually his father, he finds his father. He goes up to his father and he's like, "Are you my dad?" And he's like, "I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not." And he doesn't really want to tell Arlo the truth. Then Arlo sings this weird song. He ends up in the sewers, and somehow magically he ends up right next to, even though New York, massive place, nothing in this film takes, like, there's nothing blocking. There's no problems. There's no problems whatsoever. Everything is solved. Everything is convenient. It's so stupid. I don't like this film. And yeah, basically, she ends up seeing a seashell that he gave him. Arlo gave the girl a seashell and he kept half for himself. And conveniently, he washes up on the shore and it's like, "Oh my God, Arlo." And he happens to be right there. How convenient. Yeah, that was convenient. Finding this movie is competing with Finding Dory for the most convenient movie I've seen in a long time. My God. Yeah, Finding Dory, there's so much convenience like you've never seen before, folks. But holy shit, we're coming up on the half-hour mark. I feel like I'm not... Okay, I got to wrap it up. But they find the father. They go to this kind of gala where, I don't know, the father's like looking for donors to invest in his weird reconstruction project of where the slums that he used to live in. And yeah, so like I said, everybody thought he was a human, but it turns out he had like bird parts that he was secretly hiding under his suit. And I guess the father was the real villain the whole time, Oh my God. The father, instead of giving his alligator son to any kind of orphanage, he literally just abandons his son in the sewer to die? Oh my God, what a piece of shit. The father truly is the villain of this story. Because the real villains that are trying to catch Arlo literally just give up because they're garbage trash. So yeah, the dad ends up revealing that, yes, he is the father of Arlo, and the slums that he was trying to destroy where he got bullied. He decides, instead of destroying it and making a new city there, why don't we just fix it up and you guys can live there for free because conveniently he's a rich guy and he can afford to let them live there for free. Why the fuck not? Like I said, no problems in this film other than the god-awful storytelling. And it kind of wraps itself in a nice little bow without actually answering any of the questions. Like, we do get to see Arlo's mother from behind. We don't exactly see, is she an alligator? Is she a human? I have no fucking clue. They probably should have explained that. And again, like, what about the father? Shouldn't he be charged for abandoning isn't that called child abandonment? This guy fucking abandoned his baby in the sewer. Yeah, the father isn't charged with anything. Nobody really seems to care that he's a bird person. We don't really get an explanation. Like, how are any of these people, like, is the world freaked out by them? Like, I'm so confused. How is the genetics working? Human beings usually have like a certain genetic code which prevents us from breeding with animals. What is going on in this world? Like, why are people half animal, it's never explained. It should have been explained, but it just isn't. And again, all the characters are just kind of, C tier. They're just not memorable. Like, I don't know, Arlo is the face of the show, and even he, like, wasn't very memorable. He even has a catchphrase, and I already forgot it. It was like, Cracker Ladoo or something. What was it? Something biscuits. Oh, crusty biscuits or some fucking shit. I don't know. I don't even remember. Whatever the hell it was. The characters really did not connect with me. I didn't laugh a single time with this movie, but I do think the fish guy was probably the best guy. And, yeah, in the end, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. 5? Do I want to give it a 4? No, I think yeah, you know what? I've downgraded to a 4. Screw it. They didn't want to bother to explain shit, so fuck it. You got a 4 out of 10. The animation was good, though. I'll give them that. The animation was pretty solid. I forgot to mention the animation. Animation was pretty solid. The music, like I said, pretty generic, pretty forgettable, other than that one song. The voice acting, the fish and Tiny Tony probably had the best voice acting. The rest of the characters were just, I'd rather not, like, they don't even have enough lines to give a shit at this point. And yeah, that's basically, I think, am I missing anything else? Like, what would I come back for the show? No, I didn't give a shit. I just didn't care. I was not invested in this film to give a shit. I'm so sorry, guys. But if you love this film, don't let me take that away from you. If you love this film, you love this film. What can I say? We just have a difference of opinion. I did not personally think it was a good film. And so, like I said, 4 out of 10 is what I'm giving this one. I have no interest in seeing the show after watching the movie and how fast paced it was. And I think I covered every detail that I really wanted to cover here. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. 4 out of 10. Just did not enjoy a large portion of this film. Fast paced. Just, I think I went over like literally every last detail to show you guys why I didn't enjoy it. But the ending resolution is just kind of boring. I kind of wanted to see something crazier. There's no, like, this movie doesn't even feel like it has a climax. You know what I mean? Like, beginning, middle, end. Usually it's like we have the setup. Usually there's supposed to be like a big like moment in the middle. We never get that big moment. It just kind of goes beginning and here's the end. It's just one roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. This is the best way I can describe it. This movie is a roller coaster that is very fast, that doesn't have any ups or downs. It is literally a straight line right to the finish. That's all I'll say about Arlo the Alligator Boy. Was not a fan. Do I recommend this one? I mean, if you've got children, you might as well get them to watch something. I mean, like, maybe they'll like it. I don't know. Maybe they'll like the show. Maybe they'll like the funny characters. Who knows? I just was not a fan. And that's all I got to say on it. Like, it wasn't my cup of tea. What can I say, folks? So hopefully you enjoyed the review. Please like, please share. Oh, the comment section, I already have a feeling, is going to be pretty crazy down there. But yeah, 4 out of 10 is my review. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you actually give it lower than that? Like maybe somebody had a real bone to pick with this film. I don't know. But yeah, I think 4, like between 4 and 5, but I'm just going to give it a 4 because I was having none of it. Maybe if they had better jokes, I would have given it a 5 or a 6 or something. I don't know. Maybe a 5 if they had better. If the fish guy was even funnier, maybe that would have saved the film. But maybe if they just got rid of all of the you don't need half of these characters, right? You don't really need half the characters. I feel like you could have cut the cat. The cat barely does anything. You could have cut the pink puffball boy, Tran. You could have cut Tiny Tony. Really, really doesn't do too much. Actually, you could have cut like every character except for Arlo. Let's be real here. The only reason the cast is there is so they have characters for their show. It's honest to God, it's an issue with this film. It really is. But yeah, wasn't satisfied with the way it wrapped up. I was looking for more answers that I should have been answered in the film itself. And I hope the comments acknowledge some of my points here. So that's going to be that. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And why not watch an ad for your boy, Sandro? This is a long video. I apologize for that, but I had to get my thoughts out there, folks. The end. Bye-bye. Have a great day, everyone.